I only do the movies that I've done. All the stories have been mine.
Yeah.
So it's something that if the genesis is from me, I know where I want to take it and how I want to make it different from my previous film. Otherwise, I wouldn't give it a thought. So I knew that while I was making Pathan, after War and Bang Bang, I knew that after Pathan, I will need to change it up a little bit, mix it up and do something different. That is when the idea of Fighter came in.
And of course, you're also the person who's known for these really stylized opening sequences for your heroes. I mean, I think the one that you did for Kabir is still the most talked about. I mean, of course, Hrithik is absolutely gorgeous on screen. But I think it's the way you present him. And even in Fighter, right? Like, how much ever you see in the trailer, I'm sure there's a different opening when you see it. You see that. You have a way with introducing Hrithik, don't you know?
I think also, this is the actors. I think I somewhere do a little bit of fan service in their introductions because people expect larger-than-life introductions and I make commercial films. So I know that as an audience, when I'm in the theatre, where I want to whistle, where I want to scream and clap. So I try and cater to that a little bit wherever I can in my film without losing integrity. So the introductions in our films, traditionally in Hindi films, are such that you don't really are into the story yet. So you don't know what the sur the director's caught. So you can lift it a little larger than life at that point in time and do some little fan service for them. And I try and do that in my films.
And very successfully too.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. You know, Siddharth, I also feel like among the very few films that we don't have too many catering to the Air Force or to a special cell or anything that is to do with aircraft.
True, very true.
And that is why when you do things like this, the constant comparison, and because you have an epic film like Top Gun, comparisons go there.
Right.
I read Ashish's entire analysis, Chanchalani, on Twitter, and because, you know, you replied to it saying thank you, where he said, like, if there is aircraft there and there are certain sequences that look similar, is it all right to say?
Right.
And I feel like you resonated with what he kind of said as well. Tell me how you react to that part of it.
I think it's inevitable. So as a filmmaker, you have to be prepared for it that if you make a film on planes, they will call it Top Gun because they have no reference point. So they believe, I think they believe that, you know, we are not so creative and we will do things that will be a rip-off. I think that's something that we need to start looking at our films with a little bit more respect and not constantly believe that things are being ripped off. People do get inspired, even in the West, by content that is created in the East. And I have many instances where lately also where I did some sequences and those sequences were similar to a film that came out later in a very, very big franchise film in the West. I'm not saying they copied us, and there's no way they would copy us. So let's be real. There are only that many things you can do in action, and there will be overlaps. You just got to do it with an X factor that makes it different. And we need to just start being, as an audience and as people on social media, start being a little bit more proud of your own country and your country's work, and stop thinking that everything is inspired or copied from the West. Watch the film when you realize Fighter is such a desi film. I mean, that Top Gun conversation is going to be bitten to dust in the first 5 minutes of the film.